Jerks, womanizers, players, we date them and we hate them, or at least complain to our friends about them. They are people who pretend to care about you, playing with your emotions, usually just to get in bed with you.
Can I take your order?
The girlfriend experience.
Okay, so that'll be the full girlfriend experience with or without benefits. Most people choose with.
With.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Will you be investing emotionally, financially, or committing at this time?
No.
Got it. Okay, so I have you down for 9 misleading dates with 2 weeks of ghosting.
That'll be 9 misleading dates. Listen, it's not always easy to tell if the dude you're seeing is a dud, but our panelists are here to help. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to have you all. I'm going to start with the first question for Shan. Why are we attracted to players?
Because they're good. They're in the business of talking to people, of putting themselves out there. Practice makes perfect. And these are people who are out there practicing all day long. At the Starbucks lineup, on dating apps, on Instagram DMs, they are constantly engaging with people to see what works and what doesn't.
They have put the time and the practice in, and they are winning at the game, right, at our expense. So, Alexandra, can you tell us about a bad boy that you have dated, and looking back, were there red flags that you missed?
Oh, yeah. When I was 26, I'm 33 now, I dated a guy who swore he was not a player. That's the first red flag. He was a photographer who took provocative pictures of women and was always getting DMs. Whenever I would ask him like a difficult question, like via text, he would respond with emojis that were indecipherable. Or if it was in person, he would just be like, "What? I didn't hear you." And of course, he definitely gave me the get out of jail free card of the line, "I'm not looking for anything serious." So I thought that I could just like wait around until he was ready. And that didn't really work out. So one night he left his iPad actually signed in at my house. And then I happened to see that he was hooking up with other women. So learned a pretty important lesson there.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going over to T now. I know all of your dating stories, most of them anyways, and usually your stories end with me standing up and giving you a standing ovation of applause with how you've handled yourself. So tell us about one of your dates with a definite dud.
This one's one of my most entertaining ones, and it was the world's fastest date ever. First of all, he showed up about 10 minutes late, and he picked the place. He demanded that it be this place. So he came about 10 minutes late, and then when he arrived, he didn't even sit down. He had his coat on, and he goes, "Let's go." And I go, "What do you mean, let's go?" And we went back and forth. He was like, "I just don't like this place. Let's go. Let's go." I'm like, "You picked this place." This went on for about 2 minutes while I'm sitting down looking up at him as he's standing over me, looking at me, not sitting down. And he's like, "Let's go." And I said, and he went like this to me, like as if like, you know, the way you would call a dog, like, "Let's go," like that. He went like that to me. And I went, "Okay." And I put my jacket on and I saw the relief on his face, like as if he won, you know? We walked outside, and then as soon as we get outside, he goes, "Okay, well, I'm parked over there." And I said, "I'm going home. I don't know where you're going, but I'm going home." And I called my Uber, and it came in 1 minute, and I went, "Bye." And he was in shock. And I was like, just like, I texted my friend. I was like, "I can't believe that was the world's fastest date." The whole transaction lasted about 3 to 4 minutes.
And you could tell, you could almost tell he's done this before. Like there was a certainty, like, "Get in the car, let's go." Like, no.
Yeah, he's like, "I live around the corner." And I was like, "Is this guy joking?"
Right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Shan, sometimes we compromise our personal values to accommodate guys we're into. Why do we do that, and how can we stop?
Because I think we're too vague when it comes to knowing what we're looking for. And so people can fit into our criteria because our criteria is vast and large, which is why I'm a really big fan of having a list of 3 things. It's really hard for somebody to deny whether they make your top 3 or they don't make your top 3. So, and make them specific. Don't have vague criteria like has to be nice or has to have a job. The more specific you can get, the more clear you can be about who to weed out. And Tracy told a really great story just now because what's really important to note is these people, one, like you said, Trace, like they're in practice of doing this. So you have to know when the game is being played on you and know how to pull out sooner than later because they're also masterminds at getting you addicted and hooked. They are casinos. They give you these inconsistent rewards. Sometimes you get kindness, sometimes you don't. and it has you hooked into these relationships for much longer than you have to be. So the sooner you can acknowledge they do not make the list, they do not make my criteria, I'm out, my card's this way, the better it is for yourself and for your sanity.
Absolutely. And yeah, Tracy's actually very good at that. So over to you, Corey. Do you have any deal breakers, and what are they?
Oh, for sure. I think one, like if you're a conservative or a Trumplican, it's an absolute no for me, no matter what. Don't care what you have to say about it. It's just going to be a no. I think the number one quality I look for in someone is ambition. So if you lack it, like you can be a server in a restaurant, I don't care, but do you want to be a boss? Do you want to have your own business? Do you want to do something with your life? Like those are things that I look for. Ambition is key for me. Someone who isn't cultured is a really big turnoff, and anyone with long fingernails. That's a huge turn.
Very good advice. So, I know, and we all know on this panel that we're not supposed to, but is it ever okay to date a player, Shan?
I think that if you're a mastermind at compartmentalization and you're able to be really clear, like, I always look at it like I am the CEO of my company, and my company is a multi-million-dollar international, really successful company. And so there's going to be several different roles that make my company successful. And some of those are friendships. Some of those are mentors, they're peers. Some of those are long-term partners. And those are the people who belong in our CEO suite. Now, if you meet somebody who's a player and they give you interesting ideas, they're creative, when you're around them, you enjoy yourself to a degree. So I think if you can put them in the mailroom or find some kind of first or second floor role for them, and then you're really clear that that's as far as this is going to go, I think it can be successful. But that's a pro move if you know that you're the kind of person who gets wrapped up the more time you spend with somebody, because the 3 ways to fall in love with somebody is proximity, familiarity, and similarity. Mm-hmm. And that means that 2 of those 3 things are really just about how much time you spend with somebody.
Shan, that is such good advice. You have to know yourself. That's the most important thing. So, Alexandra, is the quality of guys you meet different online versus in real life? And if they are, why do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, I've met great guys online, but they are needles in a haystack. You really have to dig and find someone who isn't fresh out of a relationship or extremely emotionally unavailable. I think there's less players if they don't have dating apps.
Yeah, interesting point there. T, how about you? Do you find that guys are different online versus in real life?
I think online they are a lot more bolder, and they can get a lot more rude. They lack manners online, because in person they would never say some of the things that they say to you online. They would never proposition you the way they proposition you, say sexual things to you, fetishize you. The way they write online and the way they talk in person, it's 2 different things. In person, they put the effort in. They have to strike up a conversation. They might buy you a drink if you're at a bar. They might even buy your friends a drink to soften you up. They put more work into it. They're a lot more polite. Online, they get right to it. They cut right to the chase, and they lack manners. It's a numbers game.
Yeah, and I would say that that's sort of across the board. People are ruder behind a keyboard than they are just in real life, right? So
yes.
Online dating can feel like a necessary evil, but has it helped during this panny by allowing people to chat more before wasting time in person? Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's very possible to find great guys or great people online. My brother is getting married in a month from a girl that he met on Hinge, so it can definitely work. But for me, I think that it's always just worked better having an organic meet. But I do think that it's more difficult to find the right type of guy for you because there are so many options. Like Tracy hit the nail on the head there. They have there's a plethora of beautiful women in their city or town. They don't treat every girl the way they should, or they're using these chat up lines that they use to everyone else, and it's kind of cringy. And I just feel that organic meets are really the best possible way to go, for sure.
Okay, this has been such a good conversation. I really appreciate all of you jumping in and talking a little bit about your deal breakers and sharing your stories. Thank you, all of you, for joining us.